I'm Bobby J. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a tool tech episode. Yep, haven't done one of those in a while. And if you're working on old junky iron like I do, you better have your tools handy because you're going to need them. And today we're testing the basically, I'd still call it brand new, DCF964 by DEWALT. This is the biggest, baddest 3/4 inch impact ever to be made as of the date, the year that I made this video anyway. And this has 1900 breakaway, 1400 foot-pounds tightening, and there's some other different videos out there on YouTube showing this and whatnot, but we're not going to be taking lug nuts off of old granddaddy's little antique tractor now. We're going to do some man stuff. Like I said, working on this bad boy, we're going to beat the hell out of this thing, because the ultimate goal, why I made this purchase, is to use this to replace this. Yep, with this dangly thing hanging from it. Yeah, that thing's pretty inconvenient. So let's actually see if this sucker, this 964, can replace that big old 1-inch pneumatic gun. Let's get into it right now. Let's see what we got here. And this is the big boy. The biggest impact, 3/4 inch impact ever to hit the market right there. And it's a hefty sucker. Charger, like we need another one of those. And there's this new power stack, 5 amp. Pouch battery. Woo! I think it's got some girth to it. All right. I've got a fun episode here for you. This is going to be a tool tech episode. Haven't done one of these in quite a while, but if you're a guy like me, you like your tools pretty much as you like the junk that you're working on with. So this is the biggest 3/4 inch impact on the market. 1900 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. I mean, we're talking big boy. That's big boy power. That's 1-inch drive power right there. Now, we're going to work this thing. This is not, now this is a pretty new tool. This has been out, I think, for about 6 months. We're going to beat the hell out of this thing because, you see, most guys buy this because, well, they want a little bit hotter version of their trusty 1/2 inch impact. But, nah, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is, we're trying to replace that hog right there. Yep, 1-inch pneumatic impact gun. That's some beef right there. That's the question. Can this guy replace this? We're not trying to just have ourselves a fancy, high-power 1/2 inch impact, okay? We want to get rid of this guy because this goes in my big service truck, and right here this is my tow rig slash farm rig slash service rig slash take the kids to school rig, whatever. And I just don't have the air capacity to run a big hog like this in this truck. I have a small compressor, a pancake compressor, and we've gone on all those types of tools. We've stepped into the 21st century, and I've gone all cordless. So that's the plan. Can I replace this guy with this guy? And that's what we're going to do today. Let's see if this sucker can hold up. Okay. Test number 1. Now, we're not dinking around with some little lug nuts or something. Now, we got some bolts here. Some bolts. as I say, 1-inch shaft, 2-inch head. This is a 1-inch drive. I'm gonna lean that over there. 1-inch drive territory. Now, the top one, that one comes out because that one's not screwed in. This puppy, oh, I'm 210 pounds. I just about put all my weight on there. Now, I know from experience, I've taken this apart many times. If I start bouncing on this thing and trying to really swing my weight around, I'll get this to come loose. But there you go, 210 pounds. Let's see what happens, how easy this comes apart. First hit with the new 964. Not bad, not bad. She had a hammer on it there for a couple seconds, but boom, we're out. Okay, now I gotta fix the threads on this bottom one and put this back together. But that's the very first, we're breaking her in. That's a pretty good hit. My 1/2-inch gun, no way. The 899, no way, because I've tried it before. Because doing it by hand sucks. Yeah, we got one more thing to test this on where we're really gonna put the hammer on this impact. Now what you can see we got here, we got a big old honking piece of iron. This is a 22-foot semi finished disc, and we got a loose gang. Yep. These blades are wanting to spin. This is an 1 3/4 round shaft coming through. So now we're not going to take the lug nuts off of Granddaddy's old tractor here. We're going to try some man hardware. Like I said, 1 3/4 shaft, 2 5/8 castle nut. This is 1-inch territory, 1-inch drive territory all day long. So let's see what the 964 can do. Now the name of the game on this is to get this tight. Now breakaway torque, a little less important because of the fact that we want to get this tight so these blades don't spin up against the spools. So we're actually going to loosen it. Whoa! Trying to hang on to that sucker. All right. Okay, going back on. Say what? Okay, let's hit her one more time. All right, we've reached a point where we're making little progress. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go get the 1-inch air gun and let's see if that can tighten that up quite a bit more, or if it's basically stalling out like the 964 is. All right, here it goes. All right, hit number 2. Okay, she's all used up. Let's go back to the 964 and let's see what it does at this point. What are we working here with? We got, all right, we got 2 out of 3 bars on the battery. All right, there's our answer there. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So here's what my results just were. The 1-inch drive impact has got just a little bit more torque tightening than the 964. Now, for me, I know obviously breakaway torque is higher than tightening torque. For me, this job here, this is all about tightening. I do this a lot. I have a lot of discs. I work on this kind of stuff a lot. Getting stuff tight is important, just as important as getting stuff loose. So that's what the job is today. So, like I say, my results are, yeah, the 1-inch impact, the pneumatic has just a little bit more. But here's the thing. I also run it almost, I'm like 185 PSI with my 2-stage Champion air compressor. I'm running a lot of air pressure. That helps. I'd say if you're running down there to 125 to 140, it's pretty darn close. The other thing is, you probably noticed that I do not have a 2 5/8 3/4 inch drive socket. I'm running an adapter. We're losing 10, 15, maybe even 20% in that adapter. So I would say that it's real close. And the moral of the story here is, with these 2 tools, is the pneumatic air gun. Let me move the camera over. Let me put this in full spectrum. There's my service truck, okay? That right there, that's one hell of a man purse, okay? I got pretty much everything in there. And you can't quite see the air compressor. It's over there on the other side idling, okay? Now, you also can see how good this truck would be pulling a gooseneck, right? Specific tools. This truck is for fixing problems, not for hauling equipment, right? So, that leaves a problem. I don't have a big old honking 2-stage Champion 13 horsepower air compressor in the truck that you saw in the beginning of the video, which is my towing goosenecks, working on some equipment, fueling equipment, dropping the kids off to school or picking them up. That truck is a DEWALT truck, but with a DEWALT truck, sometimes out at the end of the spectrum is where you fall short trying to do too much of everything, right? Well, heavy service, heavy repair is where that truck is not good for. Not being able to have a 1-inch impact around with me, hauling that around, that's where this guy comes in. I can throw this in my other truck, my DEWALT truck, and I've got something to make a quick field repair, tightening up one of these gangs. This is just showing me I can do it with this. So you know what? This was money well spent. Especially, I don't know if I covered this earlier, but for what this costs compared to what Milwaukee wants for their 1-inch impacts, they want $1,000 basically for that. This was half the cost. With a battery too, and a charger. I don't think you even hardly get a battery with the $1,000 DEWALT or Milwaukee impact. So, happy purchase. Pretty impressed with that. That's going to work out for me. That thing's pretty brutal for a handheld 3/4 inch impact. So, I'm Bobby J. It's kind of fun doing a little tool tech. Gotta love tools, man. Using them every day. They're fun. So, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one.